Our county board proceedings will now come to order. Would you please push your attend buttons if they work? We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Supervisor Locke with the invocation.
We come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of our communities. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Amen.
Amen. Supervisor Wobel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move for the approval of this evening's agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on anything on the agenda this evening? Now is your time to talk. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on anything on the agenda this evening? That portion of the meeting will be closed. Notice of claims from the clerk.
We have 3 notices of claim tonight. One from Adam Stodmiller for damage to a snowmobile and trailer caused by a county vehicle in August of 2017, referred to the Personnel and Finance Committee. A notice of claim from AFNI Subrogation Department on behalf of American Family Mutual Insurance Company for Mark Vandervelden for damage to his vehicle caused by a collision with a county snowplow, was referred to the Personnel and Finance Committee. A notice of claim from David Weisner for damages caused by Winnebago County highway crews while trimming trees, also referred to Personnel and Finance Committee. Then we have one zoning petition from Carrie Rowe for a text amendment to Chapter 27, Article 6 of the Winnebago County General Code regarding shoreland zoning, referred to Planning and Zoning.
Zoning petitions. Supervisor Egan. What? Okay.
You're going to do the other
I
first?
skipped committees, commissions, and boards. Does anybody have anything to report? Supervisor Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I and several other of our fellow supervisors attended the WCA County Association Legislative Exchange last week, and I'll give a brief report on the highlights of it. One thing that's coming new, WCA has this new feature called Phone to Action. I think we could probably get more information about it, what it is. You registered your by text your phone number or this code, and they'll give you a text on important legislation and other matters going to Madison. That's one thing we learned about new. One of the other highlights that had to be a session on diversity and inclusivity. Partly it had to do with diversity and how there are still in 2018 concerns and problems with different races and everything. But what I found most interesting was a presentation by Dr. Emilia Istrait, who's from the managing director of the county's Futures Lab. She gave a very interesting presentation on how some counties in this county, in this state, or not nation, especially San Diego County in California, where they have reached out and offered internships to people of disadvantaged backgrounds in different colleges to try to get them interested in working for county government. I think it's very interesting, and I would hope, and I know I told the county executive that I would like to see us look into that, because we have a couple colleges in this county, and see how we can get a more diverse population integrated in our county government and more interested in working for the county. Then we had a session on blue zones, secrets of a long life. It was interesting how the presenter had gone to 5 different areas around the world and where people live much longer lives, live into their 90s and hundreds, and they're still as very active as people like half their age. You can find more by going to bluezones.com. And then on Wednesday, what I found interesting, we heard the usual stuff. We heard from the legislature on their roundtable. We heard from the governor and the legislative update, which I can give a packet of the WCA gave, handed out to our chairman, Tom Egan, of the legislative committee. But one of the things that wrapped up I found interesting is Next Generation 911, where Tom Zaka, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the Director of Emergency Communications, Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs, gave a very interesting presentation about this Next Generation 911, and I would hope that maybe at a future county board meeting, he was willing, and we invite him to come talk to us about it, because he has gone and done that around the state. So that, in short and simple, what I found interesting are these new things about the 911 and about getting more diversity and inclusivity in your county government. And that's my report from attending the WCA Legislative Exchange conference last week.
Thank you. Supervisor Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to report on my attendance at the legislative conference. I thought all the speakers were really good, and as Mike said, the repartee between Senator Fitzgerald, Speaker Voss, Senator Bewley, and Representative Hintz was very lively. It's the best I can do. I thought that Representative Mako's presentation was very informative, and then the presentations by the three Supreme Court candidates was really educational. Enjoyed it. After the conference adjourned on Wednesday, rather than visit my representatives, I attended a public hearing of the Joint Finance Committee. Since I had been in almost constant contact over the length of the conference with Senator Ross, Senator Fine, Representative Murphy, and Representative Stuck's offices regarding a Senate Bill 713, and this is a bill which would drastically alter the Bureau of Commissioners of Public Lands and their ability to help municipalities with low-cost loans, I didn't think it was necessary to visit them anymore, so I turned my attention to the JFC hearing for Senate Bill 666, Assembly Bill 732, which would fund VORP, which is an acronym for Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program. I registered in favor of the bill, but I didn't speak. One of the speakers, however, was a VORP counselor. He's an ex-Marine. He actually walks the streets and visits homeless shelters, engaging veterans and helping them, if requested, to find help. He gave 2 instances where he contacted these vets. One did not trust him for over a year, but he was persistent. And then one day, out of the blue, the vet made contact with him, and the counselor found him housing, counseling, food, and got him on the path to being service-related disabled. The other guy that he mentioned said only took him about 7 months. Only 7 months. And that vet was there actually to testify also at this hearing. Said he didn't trust the VORP guy initially, but he just observed him interacting with fellow homeless vets until one day he had an epiphany and made contact with the counselor. He said he's now stable and said if he hadn't made that contact, he'd probably be dead, but he knows he'd still be homeless and still wouldn't trust anyone. And he said this was all due to the persistence and genuine compassion of this ex-Marine who's a VORP counselor. The reason this is important is that we in Winnebago County use this program extensively, and a VORP counselor is actually outstationed out of our office 2 days a week. It's an excellent program, and this current bill is trying to get it funded through the end of this biennium. The federal funds have quit. So we want to try to get it refunded through the state through the end of this biennium and fully funded thereafter. So please, if you've got any questions about it, contact me. But other than that, please contact your representatives and tell them you support Senate Bill 666, Assembly Bill 732, and ask that they vote for that when it comes up. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Supervisor Powers.
Just a couple quick words on the Winnebago County Scholarship. Mr. Chairman, I did hand out the 3 that were given to us last month, and I asked the office to send me 5 more. I handed those out as well, and I have also sent emails to over 50 churches in the Oshkosh area with a letter stating that we had a scholarship for seniors in their congregation. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
I saw that. That was very nice of you to do that, to reach
Thank-
out to all those people that might need a scholarship.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Warnke.
On your desk tonight is an annual report of the Veteran Service Commission. I just want to let you know that we helped over 72 families and veterans and their families. This money was very much appreciated, and let me tell you, there are more problems out there than there is money. So we were given 30,000. We spent 32,928 because we had a carryover and we had some donations. But the need is definitely there, so this money is spent very well and it has helped a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you. Zoning petitions, Supervisor Egan.
Do you want to give the county executive's report yet? I mean, I will, but
Well, I don't know how I'm so goofed up here. It's all. The county executive's report.
You have to approve the proceedings first.
We'll do it after that.
Well, the first thing I want to tell the board is that 3 of our departments work together, Highway, Parks, and Public Health, on a bicycle ped path or plan. And they actually have won an award for their planning from the American Planning Association Wisconsin chapter. And their plan focuses on connecting rural communities together with these paths and also connecting the rural areas to urbanized areas of the county. And so I want to congratulate them on that award. And Emily Derringer is in the back of the room. And if you have any questions about it, I'm sure she'd be glad to take those questions. We also have an appointment tonight for the Chief Financial Officer. And, you know, this is a difficult process. We typically have the chairman of a committee, the Human Service Director, and myself that participate in those interviews. And, you know, when we choose who's the best candidate out of those that are interviewed and make an offer, oftentimes they have to make a commitment to us that they're willing to come on board and give notice to their employer to start that notice period. And of course, we only have monthly board meetings, so oftentimes their notice occurs prior to the appointments coming before the board. And so that's all I have unless there's any questions on those items. So next I'll move into the county appointments. And my first appointment is appointing George Shirk for the 3-year term formerly held by Tom Widener on the Neenah Library Board. And that term will end April 30th, 2021.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
My second appointment is Director of Finance. It's Vicki Fitzgerald, and she's in the back of the room if you have any questions, or maybe we can let her introduce herself. But she's being appointed for the Director of Finance, the position formerly held by Chuck Orenstein, who's retired.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Supervisor Norton.
We got an email yesterday. Maybe you could
There was one no.
tell me more about it. I think the legislative committee talked about it. Some people in Madison want to give you more power or more authority. Could you tell me specifically what it is, and are you in favor of it?
Somebody started moving.
Actually, I had a legislator call me about this, and I'll be honest, I didn't know the details. Actually, I had a legislator call me maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago and ask me about legislation that other executives were asking for, and I didn't know any of the details. I did miss a meeting of county executives when I went down to Austin to see my new grandchild. But basically, I think there's primarily two county executives that are pushing very hard for changes in the rules and relationship with their board. They asked that I would sign on, and I did not. And basically, I'm not taking a position for or against it, but my caution was that this would probably cause conflict between county executives and their boards. I am of the belief that it's not likely to pass because Wisconsin Counties Association will weigh in against it, and that's probably an appropriate position to take. Well, it won't pass, but if it did pass, it would shift power towards the executive. But I don't see any need for the changes. I think the changes are seeking are with specific issues with the operation of the board in Milwaukee County and Waukesha County. Yeah. So. Of course, there's other developments in other areas. I think we're all hearing about legislation that was up today with regard to Lincoln Hills and county-run juvenile facilities. And, you know, we're still sorting out what that will be, but it sounds like they're going to try and put the counties in groups of consortiums that would operate 24-bed juvenile facilities. So there's a lot of things changing all the time.
Supervisor Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, if you read your Wisconsin Counties Association email today, the bill is 923, Assembly Bill 923, Senate Bill 777. And the bottom line is, based on the legislative platform position adopted by the Board of Directors and discussions with the Executive Committee, WCA is opposing this. It's making no judgments as to the appropriateness or necessity of any change, but it's opposing it based on the lack of consensus between members. So, thank you.
Supervisor Wojciechowski.
Mark, kind of on the same lines of that, similar but different, I was hoping you could speak on if you know anything about it. I know there's a bill in the legislature that's pertaining to county boards and local governments and certain things that they can enact, and the state is looking to take that away and consolidate it more, like with Madison, to uniform regulations. Do you know anything about that? I've been seeing lots of emails and stuff in the news about it lately.
I honestly don't know any detail on that, but I'll try and take a look. Do you have a reference number or a title?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I could get that to you after that.
Okay,
probably.
thank you.
While you're still there, I would like you to have Vicki Fitzgerald come up and introduce herself. Or you introduce
Sure.
her?
Now, this is Vicki Fitzgerald, and you all have her resume in your packet, and perhaps she can say a few words about herself.
Sure. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Vicki Fitzgerald, and I've been born and raised in Oshkosh. I have 4 generations here, so I'm very ingrained in this community. I went to school at UW Oshkosh and got my bachelor's degree, and I'm going to be graduating with my master's from Marian University in May as well. And I do have my CPA, and I have 2 children, Emily and Jeremy, and they're 26 and 21 now. And my husband, Sean Fitzgerald, also works in the community and has been very involved in the community as well.
How about your experience with the government?
Sure. So I've been working with governmental accounting through the Wisconsin Technical College system. I've been with the system for about 6 years. And we do very similar things with tax levy and state appropriations and federal appropriations. I also have taught governmental accounting in the technical college system, so I have a very solid understanding of the different funds and what the different governmental issues are. Does anyone have any questions?
Well,
Go ahead.
We welcome you aboard, and let's
Thank
give her
you.
a hand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Supervisor Rowe and Supervisor Finch had asked to be excused from tonight's meeting, and also their lack of agenda items. There will be no special orders meeting in the first week of March. There are a lot of people that are going to a conference, different places, so but with the lack of agenda items and so many people being gone, I thought it wasn't necessary to have a meeting. Zoning reports and ordinances. Okay, just wait a minute. The Supervisor Roble for approving the proceedings. Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Zoning reports and ordinances. Supervisor Egan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for report number 1, Kim L. Walsh, Town of Neenah, tax parcel number 010-0111-01 and 010-0111-0201.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
I move for a mandatory ordinance number 020118, rezoning of A2 general agriculture with wetlands to R2 suburban low-density residential without wetlands.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Mandatory ordinance number 2 for Kerry Rowe of the Winnebago County Zoning Administrator. Text amendment to Winnebago County Erosion Control Code, Chapter 23, Article 15 of the Winnebago County General Code.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Report number 3, Supervisor Kreischer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval of report number 3, the Henry Irrevocable Real Estate Trust and others, Town of Wolf River, tax parcel number 0320454.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. A mandatory ordinance.
I move for approval of mandatory ordinance number 020318, rezoning from A2 General Agriculture to R1 Rural Residential.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Report number 4, Supervisor Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for report number 004, James Folks, Town of Algoma, tax parcel number 002-0130, 002-0131-09, 002-0131-11, 002-0131-13, and 002-0131-14.
Second.
Technically, there's just going to be the two of them, 002, 0130, and 002, 0131, parent 11. They had eliminated that middle, the 002, 131, 09. So all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. A mandatory ordinance 0204, 2018, Supervisor Rasmussen.
Thank you. I move for a mandatory ordinance 0204, 2018, rezoning from A2 General Agriculture to B3 General Business.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolutions and ordinances. Resolution number 240, 022-018, commendation of Lisa Kosher. Supervisor Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for resolution 240-02-2018. Second. Lisa Alyssa Kosher retired from Parkview Health Center on January 12, 2018. Alyssa was a key member of the Parkview Health Center Nursing Department for 23 years. She started as an RN shift supervisor, where she guided and directly supervised the AM shift direct care staff. She then transitioned into the role of an RN neighborhood supervisor, overseeing 42 residents on the Lakeside 2 and Parkside 2 neighborhoods. This is specialized in the care of residents with dementia and difficult behaviors. She is a strong resident advocate. She often put in long hours to make sure that the residents' care needs were met and that care planning was complete. We appreciate all the dedication and hard work she has invested to the benefit of Parkview staff and residents. Join me in wishing Alyssa a wonderful retirement.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 241-022-018, commendation of Cindy Esperum Stentz. Supervisor Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for resolution 241-02-2018.
Hold mine. Oh, the mic, there's a,
I'll start over. I move for resolution 241-02-2018. Cindy Spalmer Stentz retired from Parkview Health Center on February 1st after almost 21 years of dedicated service as a custodian. Cindy always had a positive attitude and a good sense of humor that was well received by all. Please join me in expressing our wholehearted gratitude for Cindy's years of service and best wishes for her future in retirement.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 242-02-2018, commendation of Michael Augustine. Supervisor Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for resolution 242-02-2018. Mike Augustine began his career with Winnebago County as a mechanic at the Highway Department in February 1994. In 1997, Mike was promoted to Class II truck driver laborer position. Mike was often assigned to specialized tasks, including operation of street sweeping and sewer maintenance equipment. His knowledge of fleet maintenance and his ability to recognize subtle changes allowed him to become a valuable employee for machine operation, repairs, and training of other employees. For snow plowing, Mike chose to remain assigned to a freeway route, even though this duty required long and demanding hours. With 24 years of county service, Mike retired from the Highway Department in February 2018. Please join me in expressing our best wishes as he enjoys his retirement.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 244-02-2018, request authority to apply for funds for maintenance of Winnebago County-owned and leased snowmobile trails. Supervisor Knitsky. Go ahead, point of order.
There's resolution 243 precedes 244.
Pardon? Okay, you gotta hang on a minute. Resolution number 243-02-2018, disallow claim of David Lewis. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now back to resolution 244-02-2018, request authority to apply for funds for maintenance of Winnebago County-owned and leased snowmobile trails. Supervisor Knitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for resolution 244-022-018.
It's been moved and seconded. Supervisor Farley.
Thank you. It's not on this question. Can I speak?
Sure, go ahead.
I'd like to move to approve the minutes from January 9th. Did we do that?
We did that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Excuse me. Oh, okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye for this.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution 245-02-2018, Move $20,000 from the Winnebago County Waterway Program from the miscellaneous unclassified account to Land Water Conservation Department account. Supervisor Fari.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for the approval of Resolution 245-02, 2018. I think the document pretty much explains the issue there. Basically, this was going to be handled by, I believe, Fond du Lac County, and it was decided between the counties, all three of them, that it would be better and more efficient just to run it through the conservation departments of each county. If you have any other questions, Mr. Davies, the Director of Land and Water, is with us tonight. Other than that, I move for approval.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution 246-02, 2018, amending human resource policies to add worksite breastfeeding policies. Supervisor Rasmussen.
I move for resolution number 246-02, 2018.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution 247-02, 2018, reauthorization of Winnebago County self-funded workers' compensation insurance program. Supervisor Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for resolution number 247-02, 2018.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Supervisor Robel. Oh, he's not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move that we adjourn until March 20th.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you.